crazy times, the world just needs a hero to help cut through all the noise.
Well, now you have two.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 32nd episode of the Heroes of Noise podcast. We like to call this the Father's Day episode. I'm your host, Steve.
Happy Father's Day, all you motherfuckers out there. What's happening? My name is Dan.
Like literally.
For sure, right? By definition. It's the oldest one in the book, guys. I'm sorry. That's what happens when you don't take notes. Freestyle form coming at you today. Episode 32.
We're literally going back to back because they would have just heard us and now they're getting us again.
I'm sorry, guys, that I dropped that a little bit late, but glad that you waited. It's nice to see that you tuned in, feedback, so that's good. At least I know feedback, what I'm saying by feedback is that people said, hey, I heard your show, so that's good. Anyway.
Oh, word.
Yeah,
Really?
It's just nice to be able to like throw a rock into the pond and hear the, you know what I'm saying?
Gee, let me tell you something. I was with my brother Michael today.
Oh, yeah? How's he doing?
He's doing wonderfully, and he said, so no podcast this week, huh? I was like, no, it's coming. He's like, I was like, it dropped today around something like that. He's like, oh, okay. Because he's going to work tonight. So he's just like, so no podcast this week, huh?
Yeah, I don't think about those things too, man. I'm sorry, because we really do try to be consistent with these things, but every once in a while stuff happens,
It's crap, but it's good to know that people are actually saying, hey, it's kind of a thing, so when is that happening?
Yeah, TikTok. You need to get this podcast out. Sorry, Michael. I'm sorry, man. Mr.
How's
Bruno.
Your Father's Day, man? How is your Father's Day?
My Father's Day has been wonderful. My weekend's been wonderful, man. What did we do today? Got up in the morning, had a nice breakfast, had a big cup of coffee, and then what else did we do? And then I got to chill for a little while because, that's always good. But then we went to the movies with the whole family, went and saw Tag, which was really, really funny. And then just came back, and that was it. Yesterday, kind of more the same, just sort of hanging out and being with my family all weekend, which is kind of like this weird rarity these days. It's hard to get teenagers to do anything with you. So,
Yes,
I
true.
don't know. Maybe they felt that Father's Day guilt, but there they were. It was awesome. Really
That
cool.
is really, because I was wondering, speaking of Tag,
Yes.
first of all, I'm glad you had a good Father's Day. Second of all, when I looked at Tag, the first thing I thought was, oh, this is just going to be a big screen bro fest. And I was like, I don't know if I'm in the mood for a bro fest today. But you're saying, no, it was just really fun. But they made it seem like it's a bro fest.
I never really got like bro fest from it, but did you know that it's based on a true story?
I did hear that.
How cool is that, man? I mean, I think that was one of the most, I'm going to go ahead and say heartwarming things about it. There's something that happens towards the end of the movie where it sort of takes a directional turn,
Yes.
I don't want to say much about that part because even though it's sort of minor, it's actually a major thing. But when they follow it up with like the footage of the actual Tag games that were happening. Like they filmed a lot of that stuff.
Oh, that is awesome, dude.
Yeah, man. And it just sort of put a giant smile on my face. That whole movie had me smiling the entire time.
See,
So
that's
I
really
can't
awesome.
recommend it enough. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. You guys got to check this one out. It's really funny. Like I was like in tears at a couple parts.
Who are the main stars?
Renner, who plays Jerry Pierce, Ed Helms as Hogan. We got Jake Johnson, who plays Randy. Ed Helms, let me give all the names. It's Hogan, Hoagie Malloy. Now, I don't know if these are like the real names.
On.
These are the real names of the guys, though.
That's a
the
great
thing.
name, though. That is a great name.
Hogan Malloy?
That is
Or
so
Hoagie.
good. Hoagie. When it's like Hoagie Malloy, that is a strong name.
Heard the story of old Hoagie Malloy.
Hoagie Malloy. Come on. He looks like the dork, though, in the crew.
Well, he always plays that. He's got that thing about him. He's got the Ed.
really
He's
does.
very Ed Helms in this. So if you
Okay,
don't like Ed
okay.
Helms, it's not like you're going to see a different Ed Helms this time. But
Okay.
that's not a bad thing. I happen
Not
to
at
like
all,
Ed Helms.
not at all.
Yeah, we got Jake Johnson, Steve, who plays Randy Chili Ciano. So I'm thinking that these people are. This is their real names. John Hamm's in it. Big John Hamm
Of course.
as Bob Callahan, and then we got Hannibal Buress, man, as their buddy Kevin. And Sable. They call him Sable in the movie, actually. And it's like they're the perfect cast. But you know who's kind of like one of my favorite people is Isla Fisher's in it too. She plays.
I love Isla Fisher.
Yeah, she plays Hogan's wife, man, and she's off the freaking chain in this movie. Like she's one of those like super. Okay, picture Game Night. Remember how competitive they were in Game Night? Mm-hmm. It's on that level, but on a more psychotic level, and it's perfect. She does a really great job in this movie. Stand out for sure.
Okay, I know we already talked about Game Night and that I recently saw it, right? But I'll say, I think that I'm going to love Tag, which makes me wonder, is there something that I'm needing that's like that in my life?
I'll tell you one thing. I felt like I was missing out on something like that. I wish I had that. You know what, Steve? It made me want friends. I should probably get some of those. I don't know.
I think more people. Here's the thing. You're the type of person that has more people wanting to be their friends than you wanting friends.
Say that again.
You have more people wanting to be your friend than actually you yourself wanting those friends.
I don't know about that, but I kind of see your point. I mean, if you're trying to, that's a nice way of saying that I'm a hermit. Really
you are a busy person that really can't, even we had a friend come into your office, and because I had made a joke saying, hey, we all know you weren't there to see Dan when you stopped by.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
The next time he went, he genuinely just went there to talk to you and make fun or whatever. But I think you're a personable person who a lot of people would want to be your friend, but I think you're such a busy, always doing something person that do you have time for true, hey, not just phone friends, but let's go out for lunch friends? Is that time you have?
Negative. Not a bit of it. But that's going to change. You know, I hate to keep repeating myself, but I got 6 weeks coming up, and it's not like, oh, in the 6 weeks it's going to change, but it's a nice, I guess it's a nice period to start things off like that. And I'm trying to kind of reorganize things. I want to move back down to one job eventually. And I'm really trying to set that foot forward, man, to get going with that. So yes, to answer your question, dude, I used to be a fun motherfucker. I really did. Honestly, I just don't have the time anymore. My social time outside of just working all the time. Pretty pathetic, huh, everybody? That's why I'm changing it.
But here's the thing. You were fun, and you have receipts from you being fun because you have a book of concerts you went to. You have the receipts of who you used to be.
This is true. But does concert going necessarily make a person fun?
Yes.
You think so?
The concerts here's the thing. If there's a person that comes up, he's like, I'm a fun individual. I'm like, oh, really? Yeah, I used to go see concerts. And he shows me concerts of not being cold-blooded, but he was like, I went to go see this classical pianist and this opera. I'd be like, that's cool. And I guess that's technically a social event. But it would be different from me if someone was like, I'm really a fun person. I'm like, oh, okay. And I look through a book of theirs and they're like Prince concert, Metallica, Michael Jackson, Billy Joel. That's more of he's like a fun person.
I wish I would have seen Michael Jackson.
But you're you're a person that likes fun. You just don't have time to have fun.
I like it. It's like this, dude. You ever seen somebody, I'm not trying to be stupid, but have you ever seen somebody that's overweight and you can kind of see the skinny person in them still?
Oh, for sure.
That's how I feel. I feel like I'm bloated with work, but you could still sort of see the fun dude in there somewhere.
Oh, there's no, you are when you're at work, you're fun. But when you clock out, you have a life that you're like, look, I have a billion things happening in my life. A billion, dude. You can't fit fun in there.
Yeah, I think that's my own fault, though. You know what I mean? I think people sort of make their own destinies that way. And for sure, that's something that I kind of got caught up in. And like I said, stay tuned. It's going to change. You mark my word.
Well, I know that you were saying, I don't know how much information you want to put out there, but you were planning a vacation. You want to go on a vacation.
I'm going to.
I'm saying hypothetically, going to happen, but what is your dream? What is the vacation that in a perfect world, same Dan, alternate universe, you had endless means for yourself? Where would you take your family for vacation? Not where you're going to take them, but you're like, in a perfect world, this is where I take them. Perfect world.
If I could just plan our dream vacation right now.
For a week, but only a week, though.
Oh, just a week. Oh, okay.
Yes. Anywhere, though.
The thing, though, because if you start going too far, then you're going to be like, oh, we could have seen that, but now we can't because we've only got a week. So you kind of have to dial it back a little bit. I don't think that you can really plan the vacation, the dream vacation, I think you call it a dream vacation.
I think you can, like a week-long dream vacation can happen because you're like, look, the thing in my brain is if I say what's my dream week vacation, that almost puts that dream in reality because it can't be too far and too crazy. So that means it's in a budget because for a week, it can't be too crazy. So if I actually isolate that's my dream vacation for a week, then I have to think, well, why can't I do that? Because wherever it is can't be too far. Why am I not going there? So what is your week vacation dream for your family? Because in a week, you could do amazing things and come back and be like, wow, that was freaking fun.
Well, I would like to go back to Hawaii again. Hawaii is it's kind of like my recharge zone. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And there's still so much to do there. I love going to Maui, and I haven't been there for shit and gosh, those two go together. Like probably shit, golly. It's been like almost 20. Well, no, I'll tell you what, it's been 21 years, man. I know that for a fact because I celebrated my 21st anniversary this last week. Thank you very much. That is
freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah. So it's been a long time, man. Maybe it's changed. It's probably not the best time to be going to Hawaii with like, mountains exploding and everything. But,
other than that, yes. That was what I thought, yes. But also, look, that's a perfect vacation because most of the people I talk to, as much as I hear my friends that live there saying, oh, you got to come for 2 weeks in order to really enjoy it. All my friends that go there for a vacation, they only stay 7 days. And they come right back.
Whoa. So you have friends that live in Hawaii?
I do. I have a 5 or 6 of them. Okay.
Yet you haven't been to Hawaii? Why?
You know what's funny? Let me tell you why. And I have to be real. Look, I don't like staying at people's houses. You know that.
You don't like coming to people's houses either.
Okay, here's
another story. I'm sorry. Okay, I cut you off.
You
were ready. I saw you. Cocking back.
Here's the thing. I don't like staying at people's houses. And normally if I go on a vacation, it's to I don't want to entertain. And if I have to do the Steve thing, I feel like I have to I kind of have to be like, what's up, man? Good to see you. What's going on with it? Oh, you to do like that thing. But if I don't really meet up with people, I could just decompress out there. Because if you haven't seen somebody in a long time, you're like, stay there for 3 hours. And you're like, anyway, I'm out. They're gonna be like, wait a minute, you came all the way here. You can't just leave.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you feel like you have to be on, is what you're saying.
Yes, you have to turn it on. For me, I just want to go out there, and I'm gonna go. And, I talked to, a buddy at work, and he's like, well, if you want to be away from people, if that's really what you want, this is where you go. And so that's what I'm probably going to do. And I'm not going to do any sightseeing. When I go to Hawaii, it's not going to be a sightseeing trip. It's going to be I'm sitting on the beach pondering life trip. Skip the I'll do sightseeing next time. That time is me swimming and just thinking about what do I want? What is the next phase of my life now?
That's real. I can dig that, but I have a feeling you would be trapped into sightseeing. It's just so beautiful there, man.
I heard it's really, but I think for you, like 7 days, that is actually a doable vacation and totally. B, a perfect amount of time.
I was a little bummed out. Because I woke up with like shooting off like a rocket, dude. I was ready. I was like, I'm going to take my family on a cruise. I got 6 weeks off.
You came in that night ready to
like
rock.
Jazzed, right?
Yes.
I was ready to rock. But Mr. Ignorant didn't really realize that it's that I am ignorant to travel and cruises especially. And they only go like it's not like it's just running all the time. I figured that's just how it worked. Up and not show up, of course, you got to make a trip, but that they were just kind of always running this one particular trip that I was trying to do.
Sound like that in my
right?
brain,
you would think that
like
it would make exactly. Yeah. Not the case. So I'm sort of missing that whole thing. So what went from being like, oh, I'm gonna spend some money and do it right.
Yes.
I think we're just gonna dial it back, and we're still gonna do something together as a family because it's long overdue. But I think we're still gonna be in like the California area.
Now, what's making you stop the whole Hawaii possibility?
Just not enough time. It's not planned right. It's the peak hours. Excuse me, the peak period. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, summertime in Hawaii, dude. That's where it's at. Everyone's on vacation. They want to go to Hawaii. So of course, and Hawaii's like crazy expensive. So to me, it just seems smart to like plan for that one.
That's real.
Sometimes rushing things can actually be worse because you you don't have a lot of time to think about it. You're just grabbing at things, and it works. Some people, they operate more spontaneously that way, and it works.
Yes.
But not so much with me. And then the other thing too is I don't know what's going to be happening with my shoulder.
Oh, that's true.
Like a pessimist, but what if it doesn't go so well and I'm going to need more recovery time?
No, you'll be fine.
I'm sure it will.
Last time it went well too. It just, whatever happened, but it really, actually, you woke up, you were fine. You just knew that you had to recover.
Yeah.
It'll be the same.
I just don't want to be recovering. I don't know. You just have to be careful.
I feel you. Now, have you been to Solvang?
Oh, you love Solvang, huh? I was actually thinking, it's funny. Yes, I have. But I was talking about going to Santa Barbara. Things out and, hang out. And the way that we went last time, I don't know if you have to go that way, but I've only been to Santa Barbara from like the San Luis Obispo area.
That's the only way I know to go.
Okay, so then,
San Luis, yeah.
Right. So I've taken the drive before, and I'm thinking if we do go to Santa Barbara, we'll probably end up, stopping there, hanging out, buying some candy, looking around all of them, those quaint little shops that they have there that you love so much.
You know what's funny? If you go, you got to let me know just because.
Oh, of course. I'll be taking pictures. I might
be like, if it's on the right day, I might be like, let me take a day trip.
That would be cool.
Folks. Yeah,
that would be a lot of fun.
Up over in Solvang.
Why not? What you got to do?
Exactly. And I could literally just say, hey, tell my boss, hey, it's weird, but can I have tomorrow off? I guarantee if they'll be like, well, if no one else is off, have a ball. I'll just drive out there and be like, hey, let me meet up Dan at Solvang.
So now I got to ask, when did this fascination with Solvang happen? Like what is it that draws you? I'm not knocking the town or anything. I don't know a whole lot about it. Like I said, I've only been there one time. But what is it that like draws you to it?
It's gonna sound so corny and heartwarming. It was a place that my mother took me to see plays when I was a little kid.
That's dope. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Ever since then, when I go there, it pulls me back to that time, being like, out in this town, nothing matters. You're a child again. Just let it. It's my Disneyland.
Really?
Go in there, you leave, and I'm like, I spent $400, but it doesn't count because it was in Solvang.
What are you buying in Solvang?
Books, like little. That's like the only places I'll buy, like a glass blown whatever the deuce, and I'll just get that joint, and I'll be like, yeah, that, and I'll get this, and that's the only place I'll walk up to like people that work in the stores and be like, hey, how's your day? Have you seen it? How's like I'll talk to them like I'm right back being a kid. Hey, would you like a cinnamon roll? There is no. Yes, I would. Making them now? Great, I'll wait. That thing. In like,
this guy's adorable, man.
I'll sit in a used bookstore and just buy books. I would not even having read the first page. I'll be like, I'll get that one, and that one looks cool, and this one, and that one. And it's just, when I leave there, I'm like, oh, I just felt like I left a lot of drama in that town that now has to die there, and I get to leave.
Interesting. When's the last time you went back?
About a year and a half ago.
And was it that same kind of experience for you? Good
Sure
for you,
was.
man. That's great.
I went alone. Yeah, I went alone and just walked the wonderful spaces. And the funny thing is, I don't know where we saw that play. And my mom was even like, I don't remember where that was, but it was there. We just don't know where. And I'm like, maybe one day I'll accidentally run into the theater and be like, oh, that's where we saw it. Because it was Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat. Yes, that's what we saw there. And I'm like, oh, that was the last play we saw. And I'll always remember that. But I love Saw. And then that's why I love, like, Sideways is one of my favorite movies of all time because it was there. I see it there.
Sideways was done in Solvang?
In Buellton, that's that little city before Solvang. So when they go through Solvang, you see Solvang, and then Buellton's that little town right there.
Oh, okay.
So
it's been a long time since I've seen Sideways, man. As a matter of fact, I think I've seen it once, maybe twice. But when it came out, though, you know what I mean? So there's been some time.
I think that's what made me start loving Thomas Hayden Church. And he's that guy in every movie. And I'm okay with that. He plays himself. He's like Tom Hanks. He plays him in every movie.
I always liked him in Wings. That's when I first got my first
That's right.
My first fill at Thomas Hayden Church. He was awesome.
You know what? He was that guy and another dude. Remember Coach?
With oh God. Mr. Mr. Incredible.
It sounded like you were about to say his name too. Well, who?
It's driving me crazy. It's from the dad from The Incredibles.
What's his name?
Craig T. Nelson.
There it is. Now, you remember his big dumb friend is also another Thomas Hayden Church character. Like, that's another one of him. Where it's just like, oh, that guy was in a few shows. That character. He wasn't dumb. The guy, Thomas Hayden Church, I don't think he was dumb in Wings, but he was that oaf. That big kind of lumbering oaf. Just like dude from,
You're talking about Jerry Van Dyke.
is that his name? The oaf?
I haven't seen Coach in a million years, but those are the two. Those were like the main stars. The older guy, right?
No, he was like a big oaf on, is it Wings? Coach.
Well, you got me confused now.
No, I'm about to tell you who it is.
Are you talking Wings or are you talking Coach?
No. It's him. It's him. I just got to find out his name. I see the picture of him right now. And when I say his name, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, his name is Bill Fager. Okay. Yeah. Fagerbake. Is it Fagerbake? I didn't know he was, he's the SpongeBob. He's SpongeBob's partner.
Come on.
He's SpongeBob. Oh, what's SpongeBob's?
People are screaming it. It's Patrick Starfish.
Patrick, jeez. I didn't know he was Patrick's voice.
Neither did I. It's amazing what we learn from IMDb, right?
But yeah, that guy was the oaf. Like, he was that oaf character. Just like from Everyone Loves Raymond, that big lumbering guy, that was the oaf there. Like, different TV shows had the oaf. I don't think we have oafs anymore.
Oh, believe me, we have oafs.
Who and what TV show has an oaf?
Oh, and TV shows.
Because TV shows used to have oafs. We don't have them anymore.
The dumb sidekick guy?
Yes, a big lumbering dude. We don't have that.
You mean like that was their characteristic? They were just a big dumb guy?
Were just a big oaf. We don't have oafs anymore.
I don't know.
The last oaf was Everybody Loves Raymond. That tall guy that talks like, that's the last oaf we had.
His brother?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I never really thought of him as an oaf, though, Steve. It's pretty judgmental of you, really.
He was kind of a big oaf. They purposely, not guarantee, but I'm sure that when they wrote the character, they were like, big oaf type.
Casting for a big, dumb son of a bitch.
I'm telling you, you don't think, was he smart on Everyone Loves Raymond? Was he a smart guy?
You know what? You would have to ask my grandparents. I'm not being a smart ass. I didn't watch that show, but that's all my grandparents talked about was Everybody Loves Raymond.
Gee, let me tell you.
That was their week.
I don't want to get sentimental. So I won't. Never mind, dude. Never freaking mind. Here's what I'll say.
No. Let's backpedal. Let's
Barbara
Barbara Walters Steve, everybody. What's
yes,
going
but
on?
it's not for me. Because I was going to bring up a movie I recently rewatched, and I didn't want to get all sentimental with it. But I think you'll know where I'm going.
Okay.
I rewatched Friday.
You're good. You're good.
Am I good?
Yeah.
And
you're good.
I watched the movie literally barreled over. I said, this movie is even funnier than when I first saw it and watched it all through my teen years. It is a fantastically funny movie. And then you gave me some information that kind of correlates with Father's Day.
Yeah, what he's talking about, it's cool, totally fine.
Okay.
Like,
all right, good. All right.
Steve's trying to keep me from balling up, I think, just because I told him the other night that was my dad's favorite movie. Like, he could recite Friday, which is pretty cool. That's your old man. It's pretty cool that my old man could do that. But yeah, he loved Friday.
Oh, that is so... You don't understand how baffled I was in the car on the way home.
Were you texting me in the car?
Oh, yeah, I was in the car.
Man, you got to stop doing that. That's really bad news.
I know. But
Mr. I got in an accident.
But that was such a big thing that I was just like, shut up. That is insane to me. And so that just shows how cool your dad was, man.
He really was a cool guy. But yeah, we used to watch that movie all the time.
Like him.
I love Friday. We had a movie though. My dad and I had a movie that we watched all the time, which I talk about it all the time, of course, which is The Jerk. That was our movie. Yes. That movie.
We are going to do a dedicated Jerk episode, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, I'd get down right now. I'm always down to talk about The Jerk.
It is such... I'll go a little bit, because we're not going to go all the way, because I want a free 3 hours.
Oh shit.
It is such a perfect movie. A perfect movie for now. Because he is a person that never said no to anything, and it worked out for him. You never, like, especially for me, he never closed off opportunities. Someone was like, would you like to do this? Yeah. Would you like to do that? Of course. This is great.
Like it. I love it.
Exactly. He will just do it, and he would take every opportunity. And when it goes bad, he never took it. He always took it in stride except one time. One really bad hit he took. But other than that, that whole movie is about take a chance on life. Say yes to things that you would normally say no to, and see what happens, man. Just see.
You know what, dude? I've told you this before too, but just so you guys understand, the listeners who I'm talking to, this movie is so, like, I don't know what it is. To me, it's a perfect movie.
It is.
There are better movies. There are, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are movies that are, I don't know, can I say that they're better written? Sure, I can. But to me, I don't think there's another movie. If I had to watch one movie for the rest of my life, it would be The Jerk.
The Jerk is, again, I think we're both kind of there because my mom and I, we quote The Jerk together. No one else does it because we watched it together. So we can quote The Jerk. So it's a special movie. I can't even, when someone was like, okay, aside from the sentimental value of it, and I can't separate it. I don't know if it's a good movie because it's so entrenched in my brain that it only is a good movie. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good movie because in my brain, I'm like, hey, no, it's great. It's perfect. There's nothing wrong with this movie.
Turn people onto it like every chance I get. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, and I'm sure most of you do, but if you guys, you got to watch this movie.
Oh, dude.
I don't think I will ever recommend a movie more than this movie. Whether you end up liking the movie as much as I do, because, you know, I have I'm invested in this movie sentimentally. But it's a 1979 comedy starring Steve Martin, Bernadette Peters, Jackie Mason. It is a perfect movie.
It's so, and there's a part that actually hit me a different way when I watched it recently is, I don't want to ruin it because we are going to talk about it, but there's a part where there's a sniper gunning for Steve Martin.
Yeah.
And Steve Martin is so, well, he comes to the conclusion that, the sniper, he's missing him, and he keeps hitting these cans. And he comes to the conclusion, he hates these cans. Not because he's dumb, but because he has such an amazing outlook on the world that he couldn't imagine someone was trying to kill him. And I'm like, I wouldn't have thought, I didn't take it from it when I was a kid. I didn't take it from that part. I just thought it was hilarious. But I'm like, he's so open to what a wonderful world it is that he couldn't imagine someone's trying to kill him.
You know, that's really it. Like, a lot of people could think that Steve Martin, or Navin R. Johnson, as his character is called in the movie, is just a moron or a jerk or whatever. You know, that he calls himself the jerk. But he's really not a stupid person. He's just like, it's like he'd been secluded his whole life.
Yes.
And someone just turned on a light and he just realized that there was life to live. If people just look at that movie on the surface of it and just watch it, he's being silly. You know what I mean? He's just a dumb guy that's like oafing through life. But no, he's like a little kid. And he's just soaking it all in. It does it, comedically, of course. And
it's special.
He gets himself into some. But think about it, like the level of success that he got just on this freak invention that he made.
Yeah.
Though things go awry later on. I don't know, man. It's really hard for me to try to tone back talking about this movie because I can I can quote this movie. Matter of fact, just yesterday we were driving back from we did our Father's Day dinner early yesterday just because we had this idea that no one is hip to that. Of course, everyone's hip to that. So we were waiting in line for an hour just to get something to eat. But met with the family. Everyone got together, which is always nice. And we're driving back home, and just for whatever reason, The Jerk's I've been talking about The Jerk all weekend. I watched a little bit during some slow time at work on Friday. Came up again in conversation, but we're just sitting there. My son, my whole family's into this movie. My daughter, not so much. I'm trying to get her there because you know how sometimes when you're younger, a lot of the jokes just sort of fly over your head.
Yes.
Past that point, but I just need to get her tuned back into it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. You can't force someone to like a movie. But anyway, we were just sitting there and we were just quoting the movie. The whole family's quoting the movie as we're driving home. That's
they
how
all know the movie that much?
Yeah, I mean, like, Gail can't do it, really. She can't quote it, but she knows all the parts that I'm talking about, but I can just go back and forth with Ben. Yeah.
No freaking way.
Yeah, he's not as psycho about it as
so
I am.
Cool.
There are two movies that, okay, I have to admit, The Jerk probably a little bit less, but the other movie that I can do this, and I'm talking to the sound effect, to the move, to like the soundtrack, everything, dude. Enter the Dragon. I can freaking do that movie by heart. Of it, everything. I can just recite that movie. It's crazy.
Well, see, I think my friend of mine, my boy Melvin, we used to quote, and I don't know if it's Enter the Dragon, but I think it is because that's the only movie we used to watch fairly consistently. And we only quoted one line from it, though. Was I just like, whenever we heard someone was like, "Oh my goodness, look at that," we would always say, "No, don't look at that," and we both say, "Look at the sky and all those heavenly glory." And everybody's like, "What the?"
Feel. It's like a finger pointing its way to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory. Do you understand? And then he looks at me and says, yes.
It was Enter the Dragon.
Yeah. And then he bows. I just got to finish that. He bows at him and he goes, never take your eyes off your opponent, even when you bow. God damn, I love that movie,
That's
man.
really good, actually. And you know what's funny? Okay. I can't because part of that black card is gone for me. But like that, a lot of black folks can do oh, come on. Dan, my black card should be taken away. I went blank or I'm just tired.
I'm going to go ahead and say tired, man.
Come on, what's the black Enter the Dragon?
Oh, you're talking about The Last Dragon.
Yes.
Which
a lot
is not,
of my friends,
it's not
a lot of my friends, it kind of is. It totally is the black, because that's what they were trying to do.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, they were trying to do that, and a lot of my friends can quote that like nothing. I can't. I can quote Shonuff, but I thought he was the one I was supposed to be quoting. Everybody else can quote everybody else.
You've seen my Shonuff shirt, haven't you?
The one you bought at Comic-Con.
Yeah, WonderCon, yeah. I love that shirt so much.
Yeah, it was Wonder. You know, it's funny. I whenever you tell me about whenever we say WonderCon, I get a bad feeling because of the situation around WonderCon. You didn't come back happy. I remember that.
Nah, it was fine. It was.
Yeah,
it was
you were good. Yeah,
I had a good time.
But I think with Enter the Dragon, I'm gonna watch that again too because I know I watched it a grip at a certain time, but none of the quotes stayed with me except that one. But I do want to check it out again because maybe I'll even like it more now than I did then. Maybe. Because I loved Bruce Lee flicks. I mean, we all went through our kung fu and our karate time. But I want to actually watch it again. And now, who all does he fight in that? I know it's Chuck Norris. Is that Kareem?
Chuck Norris is in that movie. No, you're thinking of The Game of Death, I believe is the one you're thinking of. Jesus. Kareem's in The Game of Death. But there's Jim Kelly is who you're thinking
Jim
of.
Kelly.
Jim Kelly plays Williams.
Man, you come straight out of comic book, right? Yeah.
Bullshit, Mr. Handman.
Man, you come straight out of comic book.
And I was going to ask you to join us. Yeah, I got to meet him, man. I have a picture, and he wrote that on my. I was at the first Comic-Con I ever went to, and I met Jim Kelly. I actually, because he was like doing, you had to pay. I think I paid like, I don't know. It wouldn't matter. I would have spent $100 to meet Jim Kelly, dude. And I spent $25 and got an autograph and a picture of him. But the only thing is, that should sound awesome, like a picture with him, because he's like. But they posed me. That's what sucked. Because I wanted to do the.
They posed you?
Do you remember? He had like a handler. But do you remember? And rest in peace, Jim Kelly, because the man was awesome. Do you remember that pose they would do? You can't see this, folks, but Steve's looking at me with the hands. Remember every time they'd square up?
Yes.
I was trying to do that. I want to do it like we were just getting ready to get down. But they posed me in the most like, hi, I'm a white belt, and this is my first day. It's fucked up, dude. I'll have to show you the picture because like it should have been a good shot. You know what I mean?
But maybe
I'm literally like this. I have my left hand like back like this, and I'm going like all straight out. It just looks so lame.
Maybe it's a serious thing though. Maybe in that culture, maybe that pose is something you take seriously. I don't know.
No.
But that's weird.
I took Shotokan karate. That was just a straight up first day. I'm going to teach you how to punch. Yeah, it was kind of stupid. I mean, that's the only thing. But I actually bought a glossy, and it's of him, John Saxon, and Bruce Lee getting off the boat when they're getting to Hans Island. And then he wrote, it just says, Dan, what is it? You come straight out of a comic book is what it says.
No, it did not.
I swear. I
Where,
could probably,
you have it?
I can probably, we'll keep talking and I'll try and pull it up.
Is he a big fella?
Yeah, fairly tall. I'll try and find that dumbass picture I took too. It's on Facebook.
Oh, please do, because you also have a random picture with Christian Slater.
That was a very like celebrity-filled weekend for me. Was the same weekend I met Christian Slater, and I also met Jon Favreau that weekend too.
Also Kevin Smith, right?
Not at that one, no.
Oh.
No, and again, Kevin Smith was just more of a passing by kind of a thing. I got to talk with Ralph Garman though. Which is cool.
Is he nice?
Yeah, he was really cool. I saw him checking in to the hotel, and me and my buddy were my buddy Mike, we were really into like Hollywood Babylon at the time. And Mike couldn't make it, and who's checking into the hotel but Ralph Garman, so we got on the same elevator together. And when he got off, cool. I'm like, hey man, I said, I'm not trying to bug you. You know, I can see you're just checking into the place, but my buddy couldn't make it. He's a huge fan. I'm a huge fan. Can we take a picture? So he took a picture with me. Yeah.
Like, no problem. He's like, no problem.
He was super nice. Super nice.
I think the longest conversation, like I think I told you, the longest conversation I've ever had with a quote unquote celebrity was I had like a 7-minute, 8-minute conversation with Lorenz Tate. And that was the longest I ever had.
That's a long conversation right there.
It is a fairly long conversation.
How did this come about?
Because I was a seat filler, and they said,
that's right.
Yeah, we couldn't talk to anybody, but I was like, I have to say something to O-Dog.
I'm
not going to let O-Dog leave this arena without me saying something to him.
Just talk about dead presidents?
Oh, my goodness, man. We talked about, I was talking about how much I loved his stuff. He's like, what was your favorite movie? And I said at the time, I was like, well, I mean, the most serious one is, Menace to Society is that one. You know what I'm saying? That's the one. But he was like, I have a movie coming out with Kevin Costner that I think is going to really be the one for me. I was like, really? And so when I saw the movie later on, I was like, Mom, that's the one he was talking about. He told me about that movie, and he was really excited about The Postman. Like, he really thought that was the movie that was going to do it.
Poor Lorenz Tate.
That sucks, man. And it should have, though. Kevin Costner was on his bag then. So it should have been the one. I like The Postman, though. And maybe it's because of that, though. I like it.
He's just, not always. Like, I'm not trying to discredit his acting, but Lorenz Tate's always going to be O-Dog to me. He can come out in a million things, but it's always going to be O-Dog. Here's that picture.
Okay, let me see. Oh, damn.
Can you see it?
Put it a little bit closer. Way closer. There we go. Now lift it up. Oh my goodness, Dan, man, you come right out of a comic book.
How dope is that?
Holy.
I love it, man. Oh, here's the extra picture too. So again, I did not choose to make this freaking pose. I wouldn't have done it, bro. Are you saying Dan like it's dumb? They fucking posed me like that. I was like, this is lame. You can even see the look on my face like, this is lame.
Oh my God. You gotta put that on Twitter, dog.
No, because I'll get destroyed. It's lame. I'm telling you it is. At least I'm like able to laugh about it.
Now, but you were touching his hand though, huh?
No, he was like blocking, because I was looking so ferocious in that shot, Steve, that he was blocking my fury.
I thought it looked like his hand was touching yours though. It wasn't touching your hand? It looked like it.
Hold on. Oh yeah, it was actually.
How dope is that?
Black Belt Jones. He's Jim Kelly.
Come on, dog.
He said, ghetto. He asked me too. He's like, what do you want me to put on here? He's like, do you have a certain quote? And I chose that quote. But I was like, And I was thinking about like, the ghettos are the same all over the world. They stink. That was...
When you said, man, you come right out of a comic book, what did he say?
Oh, he's like, that's a great one. He was really happy to do that one. He said a lot. Oddly enough, he told me that people didn't really ask for that one a lot. But it's that's the line, right? I don't know. He's probably bullshit.
And a lot of people
He got my $25.
That line was repopularized when Martin said it on Martin. They did whole quote, yeah. And everybody's like, where'd that come from?
You know what, Steve? I've learned something about you. And I've learned something about me. You know how like when you've had dogs before, right?
I have.
So you know how like if they pee in the house or they chewed up something and they know your tone, like, they can be like, did you do this or whatever? Yes. And they'll like kind of they'll look
Yes.
guilty.
Yes.
That's how you make me feel when you go, Dan. Dan. you even do it in text. I'm just like, I feel like such a piece of shit.
I
right
know.
now.
Yeah, I would put like a Dan in 3 periods.
Yeah, that's rough, man.
No, but
I know.
the thing
I was so disappointed about that, and in retrospect, I should have asked him again. But he had, like I said, he had a handler. You know what I'm saying? Like it was someone that literally, here, do this kind of thing. So I don't know if
was he that popular at the con?
no, that's the thing. I mean, maybe one person was ahead of me, but and you know who was right next to him, which was crazy, and I met him, but it just didn't look the same. You remember O'Hara? And he had the big scar. I'm trying to think he was the guy in Enter the Dragon where he was Han's henchman. He was the white dude.
Let me see. What's his name?
Oh God, what is his name? He was never.
O'Hara?
I know him as O'Hara, yeah, but I can't ever. Oh God, what is his name? I should know
There
that.
it is. Okay.
And in the movie, you know, granted, it was done in like the 70s,
Oh,
73 to be precise.
you met him. Oh, well,
His
that
name-
dude. He looks like. Yeah, I would have never remembered him.
Bob Wall.
Wow. If
Now
somebody
when-
didn't look the same.
He did not look the
What
same.
did he look like?
Oh, dude, I feel bad for saying so, but I'm not talking smack. I'm just telling you the truth. He had the worst hair plugs I have ever seen. Like they were bad. Like, dude, why don't even bother with the hair plugs? It was really bad. And I just sort of felt
Really?
bad. Yeah, because when you go to this autograph alley, as they were calling it, you see the people that are just there all the time. Like, I don't know if Jim Kelly gets that much or got that much business, you know what I mean? But you would see like Lou Ferrigno chilling, just looking all pissed off at everybody.
Shut up.
Oh yeah, Lou Ferrigno, the dude that plays. It's always the same people. Let's see. There was Lou Ferrigno, and then there was the dude that plays the soup Nazi, and then there's the chick that plays Uhura on Star Trek. She's always there. And then there's always like that one guy that's like, I was that lizard guy on this one episode of Star Trek. You know, it's those kind of people is what I'm getting.
Wait a
at.
minute. You got to see? Did you get to see? What you call it? Did you get to see? What's his name?
Lou Ferrigno, who?
Yes.
I didn't pay to see him. He was actually kind of rude. Because I was a rookie with WonderCon. I hadn't really, that was the very first con experience that I've had. And, you know, I'm just walking around. This was what, 2010, maybe? Something like that. Maybe even before that. It was when WonderCon was in San Francisco. Not that it matters. So I'm like, hey, man, can I get a picture with you? And he's like, you're going to pay me some money to do so? Like, he was not.
Are you
sorry.
kidding me?
I'm glad I didn't go too much stronger with the deaf. Oh, God. I'm going to hell, everybody. I'm sorry.
Hey, can you see me, dog?
No, I can't see you.
I'm trying to redo my like it all of a sudden cut out and I can't put the thing on.
It's all right, man. I can hear your tones.
Hold on.
You're starting to like this Skype thing, huh?
Yeah, because now I got to get back. Like I really, if I don't see you, then it's all weird now.
Man, I told you. See, now I'm complexed. I told you it was a cheesy pose, and I show you the cheesy pose, and you got to hit me with a Dan shame. Dan. Dan.
Gee, I just let you know that joke was ill.
It really
Here's
was.
the thing. Okay, dude. All right. Gee, come on. I got to see you.
You can't see me.
I can't see you. No, I thought you can't see me.
I can't see you, but can you see me?
I can see you.
Then that's cool. We're good.
But you can't see me, though.
That's okay. You're going to be all distracted now?
Yes, G. I want
sorry.
you. Okay, but anyway. Okay. So you said you did meet Lou Ferrigno.
If you want to count me asking him to take a picture and then him telling me no unless I paid him, yes, I met Lou Ferrigno.
How big is that cat?
But then he was there. Like, I think I went to like the next 3 cons back to back, and he was always
Yes.
there. So I always just made sure to take a selfie of, not a selfie, but like I'd always snap a picture of him as I was walking by, just on principle, because he
Did
was
you
kind of
really?
rude. I mean, not like, hey, fucker, right in his face, but it was just a little like satisfaction thing for me, a little dig. You know what I mean? A little win.
That's awesome, though, G.
Getting over on the Incredible Hulk.
Is he as big as he looks on TV?
Yeah, he's still a pretty big dude. I wouldn't jack with him. He's a big guy.
How much do you think it would have cost to actually take a picture?
I would probably say around $50, something like that.
That's not that bad for a Lou Ferrigno
No,
picture.
I mean, I
And
just
he
didn't.
probably wouldn't have posed you.
Man, come on. why I gotta bring up old shit? You know what? That picture has been on my Facebook account for years. I'm gonna take it down now. I'm all heartbroken about it.
That is, bro, you gotta admit that is kind of funny.
It is funny. It's hilarious. That's why I told you. But it was just like, oh, this is amazing. I'm going to take this picture. I even got my uncle, because my uncle was the one that turned me on to Enter the Dragon. He and I would just sit there and watch this movie over and over again. That's how I memorized it. So I got him a shot, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to show this picture to my uncle. He's going to be all jealous. I never showed that picture to my uncle, man, because my uncle knew how to do karate, and I did as well. Somewhat, you know what I mean? I took martial arts, and trust me, like I said, I'm like, why are you putting me in this? I didn't even argue, because it was just like, I've never had an experience like this before. I'm at a con. I don't want to be faux pawing or anything like that. Maybe that's just how he does it. But I really, really wanted to do the thing like where they touch their hands together, like right before we were going to fight. Didn't happen, man. And now he's gone.
How long ago? Do you know how he died? Was it because he wasn't old?
I think it was just old age.
Was he that old?
Like natural, not old age, but like natural causes.
Okay, now here's a good question. Out of all the celebrities you've met, which one meant the most to you? Like,
he died at 67, bro, and it was the year, so 2010. He died 3 years after I met him. That's what it was. So I'm sorry, you were saying? No,
I was saying, what are the most, out of all the celebrities you've met, what is the most important one that meant the most to you?
I could tell you the one where I was the most starstruck, where I literally couldn't say anything.
Okay.
So I didn't even technically, we had an eye contact, like, I'll explain it. I went to a concert, a gig, if you will. It wasn't even like a full-on concert. It was this club called the Omni in Oakland. And this was a million years ago, probably like 90, I don't know, the early 90s, 91, 92. Mm-hmm. And I went to go see this metal band called Sepultura. And it was a big thing because Bay Area thrash was huge back then. And, like Metallica was huge too, but they were still able to like go out in public.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was just going to get a drink at this bar. I had a fake ID and I was going to get a drink at this bar and my friends were all with me. And I just sort of stopped dead in my tracks. And I just kind of like hit my buddy on the chest, like, look, because it was James Hetfield from Metallica.
Oh my God.
And at that time, there was no cooler human on the planet to me than James Hetfield from Metallica. And we're talking, good James, not the yeah James. I'm talking like Master of Puppets James.
So cold-blooded.
I'm just saying.
I love that stuff.
Well, no, all I'm saying is that it was the James that I used to see like headbanging on stage and the guy that I kind of wanted to be. You know what I mean? But I was so fucking starstruck. I just stood there. I didn't know what to do. And I was like staring at him and I saw him, you know how like, you're talking to someone, you're having a conversation with somebody, but out of your peripheral, you can kind of see something. So he like glanced over once and then he like kept talking to his buddy. And then he did the whole, like, I'm going to stop mid-sentence and side-eyed. So he like turned and he like side-eyed me and looked at me. And he basically with his hands did the what position. And I was like, and I just turned around and walked away. I didn't know what to do.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know what to do, man. I was just
but nowadays you would have approached him and said, hey man, I am a huge fan.
There's a possibility of that, but I don't know if I would have done that because, I like to respect people's boundaries, and every once in a while I'll catch myself doing something like that. At WonderCon, I felt that it was sort of like fair game, like when I met Christian Slater.
Yes.
Yeah, well, when I met Christian Slater, he was just walking the floor. He had a handler with him, and he was just walking the floor, but he was stopping and talking to people. So I introduced myself, or whatever, got to meet him, told him I was a fan of Heather's and whatnot. But he was cool. Took pictures with him too. And then, of course, I met Jon Favreau on Pier 39 the next day. And that one I had to be a little more like covert about it because they were doing he was with his family and they were doing a Nintendo, I think it was like the DS 3D or something. Nintendo had like a tent that was on Pier 39 and they were just demoing the game. It hadn't come out yet. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking, it's like, it's got a camera now. And I was looking at it and suddenly I see freaking Jon Favreau. I'm like, holy shit. And I actually have that picture on Facebook too. Sorry. Fighting back a burp there, everybody. There we go. It's gone. All right. Yeah, sorry about that. But I'm a huge Jon Favreau fan. We've talked about Maid. We've talked about Swingers. We've talked, I'm a huge Jon Favreau fan. Happy Hogan, you name it. I don't know what it was. I felt like I could approach him for some reason. So what I did was I went up to him and I'm like, hey, listen, I was like really quiet. I was pretending I was just checking out the DS And I'm like, I'm a huge fan. I don't want to bug you. I see you're with your family, but apparently I'm still bugging you. But I'm wondering, can I get a picture with you? I said, I don't want to make a big scene about it, draw any attention to you. So I had my phone like ready to go. I said, would you, I showed him like it was in selfie mode. And he's like, oh, that's a good idea. So we just like looked, he just looked into the camera and it was like a really quick one, but it looked like I was just showing him something.
It's a really good picture, dude.
You know what? Thanks.
It's a really good picture.
I like that. That was a really cool moment. He was super cool. I wish I could have talked to him more because I really am a big fan of Jon Favreau, but I just, you don't want to bug people. And I think nowadays I'm not so like so starstruck. I'll still take pictures with people. I got pictures with like Chino Moreno of the Deftones and who else? I don't know. I got a few pictures, but it usually has to be that type of a setting. You know what I mean? Like I'm not just going to go up and like in other words, it was a photo op. He was there to do that kind of a thing. I don't think I'm going to be walking up on people anymore as I'm getting older because I respect people's privacy now.
I totally get. Well, for me, I don't in music, oddly enough, I think in music, if there's people that I don't, even if I don't like their music, I'm very easily starstruck. Even if I'm not a fan of a person's music, if they're really good at what they do, I'll still be jittery about approaching them. Even if I don't like their music, I just know they're really, really good at the music they do. It's approaching greatness that makes me like, oh my goodness, he is really good. Or she is amazing at what she does. So I'd even be starstruck on people that I'm not even a fan of their music.
I could dig that. But you know what I mean? Like, these people, they want to be people too. I would obviously... Totally. Especially like with what am I trying to say? Obviously, people that have been in the business for a long time, they just want to have a day to chill. They want to feel normal, and that's why I felt like I've thought about that over the years, and I just don't think that I would really do that anymore. It would have to be somebody like, who I would probably just fucking lose it for, to be quite honest with you, would be like Dave Grohl. Like if Dave Grohl was just like, dude. I would lose my shit. I would only on the inside. I think I could pull it off and be cool, but I think that I would be losing my shit on the inside. Matter of fact, did I ever tell you that time it was my family. It was my family, like my parents, my sister, and Gail. I don't even think the kids were born yet. And we went to Universal Studios, and we're sitting in this, on the City Walk right there that they have. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's just like a big, outdoor strip thing. We went to this sushi restaurant, and we're sitting there, and this dude walked in, bro. He looked exactly, and now I know in retrospect that's what he was going for. But he had the whole beard, the hair. He was trying to be Dave Grohl. He had, sorry, Dave. He had the kind of like the bigger teeth in the cheeks and everything,
and the big jaw. Yeah,
that big jaw. He just looked exactly like him. I'll swear to it to this day. And we sat there throughout dinner the entire time, and he's sitting right next to me, and I'm freaking out, and I'm like nudging Gail. I'm like, he's fucking Dave Grohl. Is it him? Is it him? And she's like, and she thought so too. She's like, I think it is. And I was gonna like, should I say something? Should I make my move? I was freaking out. And then, of course, like his girlfriend who he was with said, yeah, hey, so Mike, or I said, oh shit, that ain't even Dave Grohl. It was a good thing I wasn't like he could have catfished me, bro.
Oh, he could have totally been like, yeah, I'll take a picture with you. And for the rest of your life, you're like, hey, a picture with Dave Grohl. And everybody's like, it's just like the Denzel Washington thing in Game Night.
Game Night. That's hilarious. and but like, how like the subtle difference with that Denzel guy was like the width of his nose.
Yes.
It was like off just a little bit. But I mean, at the time, I really thought it was him because it's like, Dave's got a look. Dave Grohl has like a look. A certain like facial, I don't know how to. His facial structure is what I'm getting at. That dude had the same facial structure.
Well, like I remember, I think it was Cat Williams that said, he's like, everybody thinks a 300 looks like a Bentley until you see a Bentley. And I was like, that's true. So he might have looked like Dave Grohl until he pulls up on Dave Grohl. Then you're like, right. Oh, they don't look anything like each other. My bad.
Yeah, the other thing is that, social media wasn't so strong back. I don't even know if it was really existed. I don't even know if MySpace was around back then. But, dang. So, in other words, what I'm getting at is you're not seeing Dave Grohl every 3 seconds on the Twitter or, you know what I mean? So, yes. From far away, it looked like fucking Dave Grohl to me. All the, the Nirvana videos that I've ever seen, most of the time had his head, his head was down or playing the drums or something like that. It just looked like him. So I'm glad I didn't say anything.
Well, here's the weird thing. Dave Grohl, even though he still looks young, he's aged the quickest for me. Like he looks great, but looking at him now and looking at him in the I'll Stick Around video, he's the one that aged. I'm like, wow, he looks like a baby. Like it's pretty. Like I can look at Snoop Dogg, and he looks like Snoop Dogg now, pretty much. He doesn't look like. I mean, Dave Grohl looks like a million years from that time.
Yeah, he's weathered, but he likes his alcohol. He likes his alcohol and his cigarettes too.
I didn't know he smoked. Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he still smokes, but he used to smoke like a train.
That I did not know.
But he's a big drinker.
That I did not. I thought he was like a sober cat.
No, far from it. I'm not saying he's like a drunk or anything, but he likes to get his drink on.
I don't know if there's a way, because before people just used to stick around and like, oh, I'll just chill and wait for the bus to come through and they'll come out and give autographs. That doesn't happen anymore. I think the bus, like they have special entrance. Those things are over now. Like they drive that bus all the way into the actual forum. You can't even just stay and watch them walk in anymore. That sucks.
I actually appreciate when bands still do that. Coheed and Cambria is one of those bands. They'll like hang out and talk with their fans and everything. I think that's pretty cool. But I don't get starstruck with those guys. I appreciate them as musicians and I love their band. They're my favorite band. Another one, like when I met Iron Maiden too, I was compared to my friend who was like the guy that turned me on to Iron Maiden. He lost his shit in front of these guys. Like he had tears in his eyes and the whole bit. And so by comparison, I think I was doing pretty well. But when I've met all of the members of Coheed and Cambria except for the drummer, Josh Shepard, they're all really just cool. It's kind of weird. Like I was expecting the singer Claudio Sanchez to be like very talkative, and he's actually a very shy guy. I almost felt like I was intruding on him. I met him at Comic-Con as well. Or excuse me, I said Comic-Con, at WonderCon. And he was just a really chill guy. I felt he was really nice, very friendly. He didn't write me off or anything like that. But it just got to the point where I'm like, you know what? I can tell you're just trying to chill. Like he was done. He went there to go sign comic books. And, Sunday, he was walking the floor. He was literally there just trying to enjoy himself. So, you got to back off and let people have their free time.
Yeah, what you don't want is someone, like literally every place you go on the WonderCon floor, he's still talking to you, being like, so yeah, man, that one song though, you're like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do anything today.
Yeah, I don't think that he's that big. Like, I think it was very easy for him to blend in. He's not, in other words, he's not like Metallica or something like that.
I've never heard
or
of
Dave
them
Grohl
until you, dude. Like, I'd never heard of them.
Their fans are rabid, but you're right. They're sort of like a small. They're getting bigger, but they're a smaller group in comparison to some of these other bands. But they're all very nice guys.
And you said you've met all of them, the lead singer and everything. And the lead singer was nice to you?
Yeah, he was nice. I was with my daughter. We both met him, and super cool. But just, I could tell he was just wanting to. He was looking at comics. He wanted to look at comics. When you just want to go and just be yourself and peruse the aisles and just sort of not have to entertain or be on, as you put it. You said you don't want to be Steve Hudson when you go visit people. I think he was just trying to be himself and he just wanted to kind of hang out and not get bugged. So I gave him his space, but he was still a very nice guy.
Did you, and have you taken a family picture with any celebrities?
With him, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they were there signing comics. Him and his wife were signing their, what was it? I believe it was Key of Z that they did. It was like a zombie one. I got to get that one to you. I think you'd like that. And then another one was called Kill Audio. But if you say it fast, it's Claudio. You know what I mean? Claudio. So
that's slick.
Yeah, it's about this little troll that looks exactly like him, but in troll form. And it's just a crazy story. I have these for you. I'll let you read them.
Now, does he draw them too?
No, he doesn't draw them. He and his wife are a writing team.
Oh, that's adorable.
She's kind of adorable. Like
Is she really?
Yeah, she's almost. I jokingly call her the Yoko of the band. She's not breaking them up, but she contributes to things. Like on their albums, they have a lot of they're very science fictiony. I'd mentioned it on the last show. They have they have a comic and a story called the Amory Wars, which is what all of their albums are based on, except for one. They basically create comics that tell the story.
Okay.
It's a concept album. You know what I'm saying? It's a concept album, and then they make comics about it. There. Sorry, folks. I was all babbling there for a second. So that's what they were there promoting. And now that they're making albums that are they don't even have comics for them yet. They're just writing the stories for them. She's now, since they've been married, she contributes voice acting. What am I trying to say? Voiceover work.
Okay.
She'll play
like a machine that's talking to one of the main guys, this guy named Cyrus Amory. It's like this big ass long story, dude. I think you would totally dig it, to be honest with you. Whether or not you like them, I think you would totally dig the story of the Amory.
I want the Key of Z a lot, especially if it's not a short comic. If it's a long comic, I would love to read it.
It's like like one issue of a graphic novel. It's that long.
Okay, so it's like it's not super long. One issue of Preacher. Okay.
Not like the regular individual monthly comic. I'm talking about like, a series of them. So there's probably like, I don't know, 6 or 7. And it's just all in one book that I had. So I got that signed.
What did he say? Like, do you ever, when one of them sign your comic, do you have a specific lyric that you want them to quote?
No, not that much. There are people that are like hardcore. They have their fans are called the Children of the Fence. And again, it's all related to, I'm going to really get nerdy right now, but basically what it is in the comic, there's something called the key work. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's this. Can you see me?
Yes.
You see that? You see this?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So that's called the key work. And it's basically made up of like, what is it? It's been a while. I want to say it's like 69 or 79 planets or something like that. And they're all like in this form, and they're all held together by something called the key work, which has to do with like people's souls and the energy from the souls binding it all. It's fucking crazy. But now I see I went off talking about the key work and I forgot what we were talking about. What were we just talking about right now?
No.
Yeah. Sorry. So anyway, but there's something in the comic that's called Heaven's Fence.
Okay.
And so their fans are called Children of the Fence.
That's cool.
Yeah. So they're way hardcore. I'm not as hardcore as
you're kind of hardcore being that
I am
you
a
have
hardcore
a
fan.
Yeah,
I'm a hardcore fan. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not, but
big.
I'm not, but again, I'm not going to just like rush them and I'll go and meet them if they're out there. I'll go up. Like, matter of fact, we saw them in Sacramento, and it's a small place called Ace of Spades. And we were just done with the show. We were hanging out after a while, and we just happened to walk around the corner because it was in walking distance from my friend's house. And the tour bus was right there. And Zach Cooper, who's their bass player, was just out there bullshitting with people. So we stopped, took some pictures, and just, I mean, like, I wasn't like, and what was your, where was your inspiration when you wrote the bass line? It wasn't that kind of a thing. Like, we were talking about, I had just got like the new iPhone at the time. And he was like, oh, is that the new one? And we were talking about the iPhone. Like, they're just cool guys. You know what I mean?
So would they play somewhere like when we saw No Sleep Live? That's their sort of venue?
No, now they're bigger. Let's see. Where are we going to see them? We're going to see them in August. And now they're playing like the Greek Theater in Berkeley. Good size. I also saw them at the smaller. Yeah, they opened up for. They were called Heaven and Hell, formerly Black Sabbath. Which, do you remember? Do you know who Ronnie James Dio is?
I do not.
Okay, he's like again, I'm start talking rock talk, but there was like Black Sabbath, which was Ozzy Osbourne, right? Then Ozzy bounced, and then Ronnie James Dio came in and stepped into him, and then he became a solo artist and everything, and he died recently. But they got Black Sabbath back together, but for like licensing purposes, Sharon Osbourne and such, they had to call the band Heaven and Hell, which was one of their songs, one of their hit songs. So when I went to New York back in 2009, they played Madison Square Garden, but not like the big garden.
Yes.
There's like a separate one.
Yes.
And I saw them there, and that was a pretty big venue too. I've seen them open up for Iron Maiden, but headlining, I think the biggest show that I've seen them do was probably something like the Masonic Theater in San Francisco or the Warfield Theater. A good several thousand people, but nothing crazy. Not like not into the double digits of thousands or anything like that.
Well, see, it sounds like they're on their way to become because remember, that's how Dave Matthews started. It's like they could be a Dave Matthews thing because Dave Matthews is a live band. They're not. You don't buy Dave Matthews CDs. You see him live. He knows that he's not going to make money on CDs. He makes money on his stadium tours, and so they might just be building that audience.
They're always building their audience, but they're like 9 albums in at this point. Like their 9th album is going to come out this year. So they're not, just starting off, but their fan base steadily grows. It's a weird thing I was going to tell you too before I forget to tell you. The reason that I wanted to talk to him, not just like, oh, hey, there's Claudio Sanchez of Coheed and Cambria, but at the time, I don't know, it was probably like a year-old news. But when I met him at WonderCon, about maybe 10 months or something before, Mark Wahlberg actually had purchased the rights to the Amory Wars. Like there was supposed to be a movie coming out.
Holy crap.
And it just never, that's what I wanted to ask him. I want to say, hey man, have you, what happened with that? And he was like, I don't know, like nothing. Basically, he just bought the rights. So it's sitting in Marky Mark's house somewhere.
Boston?
They're from Nyack, New York.
Wow. That's interesting, man. And so they're like our age.
They're younger than me. They're younger than you. I'd say they're probably like 37, something like that.
So they started in their 20s.
Yeah.
This is
Great,
such a,
great band, man. They
such
really
a
are a great
random
band.
for you to like.
It's just, you know what? When it feels right, it feels right. It's the best thing I can tell you.
What is a random band that I know that no one knows? Not like a Coheed that not a whole, like if I go to a show, they like have 2,000, 3,000 people. I'm trying to think who that would be. I imagine, but I think he's bigger than that because I think he could probably fill more than that. But Van Hunt, I love Van Hunt, and I don't know if a grip of people know who Van Hunt is.
I know who Van Hunt is.
You do, but do you think he's one of those people that have that I've never been to a show of his, so I don't know how deep his fan base is, but he's someone that if people like him, they really like Van Hunt.
These days, and I'm just guessing because I have no knowledge of what Van Hunt's doing, but I would assume that he'd probably be around the same lines of like packing like a Warfield theater, a couple thousand people, I think. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't ever see anything like, at the Staples Center headlining, Van Hunt's headlining. So I'm thinking he's still in the, he's above the club. He's more of a theater guy. He's not a club guy. He's in the theater. He hasn't quite graduated to the arena.
Well, see, I listened to an interview with him recently, and he did like a few live sets, like in the chair, like actually started singing.
That was Armchair Expert, right?
Yes. Dude, he sounds fantastic.
Yeah, he's got a great voice.
I mean, she's Louise. But I was gonna. Speaking of Van Hunt, did I tell you my iPod went out?
No. So now you just have the one that I gave you?
Affirmative.
Oh, what are you gonna do though? Because you can't add anything to it.
I can't add. The thing is, I can't add anything to mine won't sync. That's the problem. But I can still play it, but it won't sync. And they said that's a defective iPod now. But you can still play the music to whatever you want. But you know what? It's funny because I said I had to do the jerk thing where it's just like, this is an opportunity for me to move forward to new technology. So I moved on. It's like, okay, I have my iPhone. What can I do with it? And I looked into, oddly enough, that day I got an email saying 3 months of iTunes Music. And I asked my son, because Maj is about to run out of iTunes, his free trial. I'm probably going to get it for him. And I said, how do you like it? He said, let me tell you what iTunes Music is. He said, you have access to every single album on iTunes Music that is on iTunes platform. Every album, and you can download any album you want onto your phone as long as you're a member. As many albums as you want.
That's pretty cool. I mean, but it's kind of like Spotify, right? Or
no, you can't download music from Spotify. You download it onto your phone. It's yours. As long as you are a member of iTunes Music. And it's $10 a month. And on iTunes, you can play the album in the order you want to. Choose different songs, anything in the iTunes library. I said, that's insane. He's like, yeah, it's $10 a month. How
I
insane
use
is
something
that?
called, that's pretty awesome. I use Amazon Unlimited just because I have Prime.
Yes.
And it was like, I don't know. I just never stopped using it. I did the trial thing, and it's, I want to say it's like $5 a month or something.
That's not
I don't
bad
know
at
if,
all, dude.
and I don't know if I'm unlimited data, you know what I mean? So I don't have it on my phone, but that works well for me. It has everything that I need on there. Not that I'm like trying to say it's better than iTunes, but it is pretty cool that you can actually download it.
That's what I was, and my thing was like, if I don't have to use my data, so I could just download it to my, if I want to listen to Stevie Wonder's, even though I have it on my iPod, but if I just left my iPod at home, and I was like, let me listen to Stevie Wonder's album. It's there. And I could download it to my phone real quick and just listen to it and just take it off when I want. That's insanity.
I think I can do that, actually. It says offline music mode. So clearly, that's like downloading it, right?
Yeah, I imagine it is.
I like that.
See, and for me, I'm like, okay, so in other words, right now, I don't need my iPod with me all the time anymore. Because even my podcasts, my subscribed podcasts are now linked, and I don't need it. And I was like, so what I am is a person that's, when I get used to something, I can't move forward. I need to change that. I need to start being like, okay, this thing might not work. Let me try something new. Even though that's been trusty dusty, I need to move forward and try something new.
Well, that's why I'm a little bit puzzled by you, because regarding the iPod, I should say.
Yes.
Because I know, from working with you that you carry the old school click, click, click iPod with you. But you also have an iPhone.
Yes.
So I'm just curious why you don't just marry them, like get rid of the extra hardware and just use your iPhone. Why don't you do that? There's got to be a reason, I assume.
I think because the iPods have so much of... There's some things on the iPod that I'm just like, I love that the fact that this thing has it, even though I could still download it onto my phone.
Yeah.
There's some things that I've ripped off of YouTube that I have on my iPod, like unreleased Stevie Wonder stuff that I can't get off on iTunes. I just can't get it. I'm going to have to now rip it off of, if I find any more unreleased stuff, I got to rip it off of iTunes or off of YouTube and put it on my phone, which is a pain in the butt. But again, I think if I just sync my phone with my computer at home, it'll now live on my phone too. Because I'll sync it onto I sync my iPhone, my iTunes with all the stuff that uses my same Apple ID. So I'll be fine.
I don't know, bruh. I think you're carrying around too much hardware.
I am, but it's just something I always do it. It's just like your iPod.
You're a creature of habit.
Exactly. And I think and I'm tripping because in my brain, the sound quality is better. And it's not true. I know it's not true. But in my brain, you know what? It might be true though, because on an iPod, you could adjust the sound settings. I don't think you can do that in an iPhone. You can't up the bass and like put down the treble for music, right?
I'm not going to look. I'm not going to look into it right now. But I would assume anything that you can do on the old one, you can do on the new one, and probably.
No,
better.
I'm saying
I could be wrong.
I'm saying on my iPod you can do that. You think
right
you can do
versus
that on
your
the
iPhone? I'm not, like I said, I don't want to like. I mean, I guess I could look into it right now and see.
I don't think you can, G. If you can, I'd look like a dummy though.
Maybe in settings or something. I'm not sure. It sounds fine to me. Like I don't think there's that big of a difference to where.
Well, because you have a Bose speaker, G.
Yeah, or headphones. I mean,
exactly.
It's all the same.
My album unmixed will sound amazing through your Bose. Be like, oh, it sounds perfect. And then I get in my car, be like, wait a minute.
I'm still waiting to hear the album.
I know. All I'm doing now is artwork. That's it.
Who's doing your artwork?
I don't know yet. That's what I'm looking for.
You got a concept?
I do want to, like, my first one, because it's gonna be 3 EPs. One's gonna be the EP of me actually meeting somebody, falling in love, the actual relationship, and the last EP is gonna be the breakup. It's because I realize I have songs that are sad breakup songs that are happy songs. I was like, you know what? Why don't I make these 3 separate things?
You're coming correct already, man. You're already doing concept albums. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I guess it is a concept album, isn't it?
Sounds like one to me.
And I also had an idea where I was going to do I really was going to like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I wanted to go to different cities and write songs in these different cities, and the album will be called whatever the name of the city is I'm in.
Oh, check you out.
I'm trying, brother. I'm trying. Okay, wait.
I think you should do like the first album cover, no matter what it is. It should just be like those old pictures that you used to get at like at like J.C. Penney, where you're like, or like old school pictures, not old school, but like your old elementary school pictures, where it's like you and you're smiling at the camera, but then in the background there's like a giant faded picture of your head, and you're like looking off in a different direction. You know what I'm talking? That should be it, man. You should just go and get all of your album artwork done at like J.C. Penney or something like that, and just tell them, I just want the old shit, none of this new stuff. Hey, dude. So before we go, I'm not saying we're going just yet, and I don't even want to come from like a scandalous point of view. I don't want to be a mudslinger, but something huge. It's like avoiding the elephant in the room if we don't talk about this, right? So. Huge news in the podcasting world, the entertainment world, the geek world happened this weekend. And from the most unlikely person that I would never have expected this person to be someone that's like now where they are. And do you want to, should we talk about a little, should we do it? Should we talk some Hardwick?
Yes.
Scandal is afoot once more. The Me Too movement strikes again. And this week, an unlikely person is now under fire, and the person I'm talking about is none other than Chris Hardwick. Blows my mind. I'm not going to say that Chris Hardwick is guilty, and I'm not going to say that he's innocent, because I don't know. And I'm not going to be the guy that always says that there's two sides to every story. But how it's transpiring, it's just kind of odd. You know what I mean? Like,
it went from Skydar, which is her Twitter name.
yeah, Dart, Sky Dart.
Yes, Skydart. She went on Medium and did a post.
Yeah, her name's Chloe Dykstra, by the way, his former fiance.
She did a post about her being emotionally, and can we say, was it mentally, emotionally, was it a physical? I haven't read it all the way through. Was there physical abuse too?
According to her, it was mental and sexual assault. I
Okay.
don't think he ever struck her. I don't, but yeah,
So-
I mean, she was saying things to the fact. Go ahead.
No, she's saying that she was abused in her relationship. She didn't put a name on it, but she gave all the clues, and
She didn't need to put a name on
She
that.
didn't need to put a name on it. And people deduced that it was Chris Hardwick. And everyone was in shock, except for the people I expected to be in shock. There was a few people that I'm not going to put their names out there, but there were a few people on Twitter that knew him, and they weren't exactly just taken aback. And I said, that's interesting. Because in my brain, I've said it before on this podcast, he is the overly nice guy. But it just shows, regardless of what you see on screen or what you hear, you don't really know a person. And my thing is, again, this Me Too thing is needed, and it's not stopping. I think everyone's actually being way more careful with how they interact with people, even though we should have always been. People are way more conscious about how you interact, how you talk, how you physically interact with women, which is a wonderful thing. Now, this situation, I think, strikes a lot of us crazy, like saying, wow, because he was such on screen, an amazingly nice dude. Overly nice, if anything. So we're shocked.
As I've always called him, I've always called him the hooray for everything guy, because he's just, everything seems to go his way, and he's crazy about everything, and he always, I mean, obviously, if someone has, there's going to be those things that you only want people to see, and the stuff that you don't want them to see.
Yes.
That just goes without saying, But that was always the foot that he put forward, was that he was just, I don't know, he was living a charmed life. I mean, he seemed like such a nice guy when, up front. I've seen him perform before. I saw him do comedy. I saw, I didn't do it, but I was one of the WonderCons, and I saw them do Nerdist live.
Oh, that's cool.
And he came off very charming. Yeah, it was pretty neat. But then you hear stuff like this, and it's like, she was saying that, like right away, like right off jump, she was saying that within 2 weeks of dating him, it's like, she had a drink. Oh, I noticed you drink. Well, that stops immediately because he's a former alcoholic and he's clean. I can get that, but it was like her version of his delivery. And then, she said that he'd be taking her to Comic-Con and kind of flashing her around when they're together, and then keeping her in the hotel room while he went out and was like, again, this is her words, getting numbers of other actresses and things like that. And she just kind of kept her prisoner. But then she was saying that she was expected to be ready for him when he got home, to have sex. It's the way she was saying it that was kind of going back and forth. And I'm not discrediting what she's saying. I think it takes a very brave person to do that either way, but she was saying that sometimes she didn't want to, and that he was just saying, well, just so you know, the reason that my last relationship ended was because it was a lack of sex. So she said she was like the one that said, well, and I, in his defense, or to be fair, I went along with it because I didn't want to lose him. But then she was like, this is the part, dude. She put this word in, right? And I didn't know what it was, but I was kind of clued in by the word I'm about to say. He would make her lay there, and he would do what he called starfishing. Now, Steve, have you ever heard of starfish?
What is that?
I don't know if this is what they're talking about, but I went to good old Urban Dictionary. I'm going to pull that up real quick. Because I really I don't know if this is what it is. But I'm going to tell you the top definition of starfishing in the Urban Dictionary is as follows. And I quote, when an individual who is too fatigued to engage in sexual activity. Oh, wait, hold on. This is different. Okay. This is a little more tame than what I saw originally. This one says when an individual who is too fatigued to engage in sexual activity themselves lays spread out on the bed for their partner. So, in other words, the term starfish comes from just kind of like laying out spread eagle.
Is she
that
like
makes
asleep?
a little more sense to what she's talking about.
Would she be asleep?
No, I think she would just lay there and let him do his thing because he was going to get it one way or the other. I'm not saying he raped her. She's not saying he raped her, but she did say he sexually assaulted her. So I don't know. It's the wording of things. But the first thing that I saw when I looked up starfishing, because when I think of starfish, I mean, I think you know where I'm going, right?
Yes, I do know where you're going.
So then this is the first thing that I read. So I hope it's the first one, I guess. Starfishing, the act of two people spreading their butt cheeks apart and touching and or rubbing each other's assholes together.
I don't think that's what that is at all.
You're gonna lay there. And let me try.
As he's like, wait a
let
minute.
me do that thing that my dog does on the carpet.
Yes, but
I shouldn't laugh, because she's obviously spilling her guts about this kind of thing. But
the fact that she went on,
I was sort of relieved just now that I saw the other one.
I think the fact that she went on defense for all the employees at Nerdist Now was pretty awesome.
Yeah, she was basically saying, he hasn't been with that company for a couple of years now. Don't, carry over whatever your feelings are towards Nerdist because they're good people. Even though she didn't say Nerdist. But she didn't need to, bro. She was like, he started off as a semi-successful podcaster who eventually became the CEO of his own company. And, Comic-Con, I forgot. It was actually a very long article that she wrote, an essay. But she might as well have just said it was, Plis Flardwick. Because she basically just, you know what I'm saying? It's him. And then the other thing is that, you see people that are on the other side. Well, like, how do you know it's him? Everyone's basing his guilt are associating, him with this because why? Just because we're supposed to assume that? But like, I don't think he would have put out a statement. Exactly. Which he did. If he wasn't acknowledging that,
And the thing is, here's the thing. For AMC said he's done until we do our own investigation. And Comic-Con has already taken him off the panel.
Yep. And so is, I believe, NBC is looking into taking off The Wall to his game show.
I'd never even heard of this thing.
It's actually a really good game show. I like that show.
I'm very interested in what, because look, being real, because we know, AMC is going to definitely do an investigation. And if they stick to this taking him off the air, that investigation came up with something, in my opinion. If it is totally...
Well, according to her... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You said according to her?
I was just going to say, according to her, she basically told him, like, this person... Again, I'm paraphrasing, folks, but it was like, this person may choose to sue me, which I would definitely advise against, because I've got audio and video.
If this is not true, this would be perfect for... If it's not true, Chris Hardwick's going to sue her for all the loss he's
Hell yeah, for libel
so
and slander and all of that.
If he does not sue her, what does that mean to you?
Well, it's not exactly, making him come off real, squeaky clean. Sounds like there's going to be a settlement or something like that,
If he does not settle, or if he does not sue her, I'm at least going to have to be like, why didn't you if you're proclaiming your innocence? And if he's like, well,
exactly.
He's talking to me. And if he's like, well, it's because I didn't want her to go through more than she's already gone through. I'd say, what did she go through if you're saying you didn't do anything to her? So what do you think is the answer to that? Oh, I don't want to sue because of this.
I really don't know. I'm very curious to see what's going to transpire over the next few days.
Yeah, and it's not going anywhere. Like, his name is there. No. And I think, again, the next week or two is going to say a lot because advertisers are going to flee from anything with his name attached to it. He's
got to be freaking out right now.
He is. Dude, let me tell you who's freaking out too. Him, his agent, his manager. those are the people freaking out.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
His wife's
There's a lot of money to be lost right there, dude.
Here's the thing. His wife's a Hearst, and this is okay, ladies and gentlemen. This has nothing to do with the case at all. But if it was my child married to this person, I would at least be calling her and being like, "Do you know for a fact this isn't true?"
She wrote something as equally cryptic, but basically just saying that, check your facts is all it was really saying. But
okay.
I was actually surprised about that.
Hey, thing is, here's the thing. She put out a statement that I read that if things do go badly, she's able to go to that statement and be like, "I never said that he didn't. I never said that. I just simply said, hold on, wait." That's the sort of good statement that was. It wasn't like, "Here's what I will tell you. It is absolutely 100% impossible that this happened. I know him and I will stake my life or stake my reputation on the fact that he did not do this." She didn't do that.
It's going to be a very interesting week for him, man.
Oh, dude.
To say the least.
And here's the thing. You could, like, if it all comes out and it's totally true, I'm not going to feel bad at all, especially because this is totally unavoidable. You treat somebody with respect and dignity, this doesn't happen. You're good.
This is true.
You know what I'm saying? But if it was, if you don't and you thought, "I'm a good guy," like your future good works, you being nice to everybody in the future, being the most respectable, awesome, amazing guy is not going to clean up what you did to somebody. It just won't. If this is true.
I just wouldn't be surprised if it is. I just don't. It makes me kind of like uneasy to talk about these things because, it could be you or myself. Somebody does, like, okay, what if like somebody from your past just decided to go ahead and, let's say we were bigger. Let's say our show was bigger and we had a little bit of notoriety, and someone comes in and does that to you or myself, and it's not true. I guess what I'm getting at is we're in a weird time right now where due process is kind of like being overlooked. And I'm not saying I think he's innocent or anything like that. It's just this very weird time. It's like as soon as this shit hits social media, the damage is essentially done. Wouldn't you agree?
Kind of. I think it's the response that does it. Like, and now, mind you, I'm hoping this. Look. We're hoping no one's ever falsely accused, myself obviously included. But if I was, the main thing nowadays, you have to being a part of the, knowing the layout of the land and knowing that if you're just like believe women and then later on it happens to you, you're like, "Hey, but women be lying sometimes, right? They do be lying though."
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's really this weird, like, there's this weird place to be. You know what I mean?
I think you have to do something in the lines of, now, mind you, again, I am not a person you should listen to for this sort of advice, but you have to, in this time, I think that you have to be like, "Look, I was accused of something. Always believe, the people that are believing women, always believe women. The truth will come out in time." But I would not say women be lying. So you just got to be like, "You know what? You continue believing women. All of you that are believing her, believe her until I prove you otherwise." Because if I do the whole thing of saying, "Don't believe women, don't believe women, don't believe women," and then I win and show that she's a liar, what trail have I left now? He told us not to believe. And look, she is a freaking liar. Now it's from here on, it's going to be like, "But remember what happened to Steve? He got screwed over and he's been saying not to believe women. He proved our disgusting point." Whereas if I'm like, "Believe women," later on I show that it didn't happen. Now it's well, he said to believe him. This wasn't true, but he also said this. Hey, believe him. Because most of the time it's not someone false flagging. A huge amount of time it's not someone false flagging. You know what I'm saying? And here's my thing. Imagine if it was someone else's, I'm not going to say yours, a friend of yours' daughter, and the whole internet was like, "She's probably lying." You know how that goes. Bro, you would be ready to jump through that computer and strangle
man. That's why I'm saying it's this weird place to be in the middle, because it's like, I usually am I tend to believe that where there's smoke, there's fire. Yes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's not that I'm thinking that she's a liar or anything like that. It's just, like I said, it's just one more fucked up case. But this stuff's happening all the time. It's happening right now.
Exactly. And we've seen how...
But you make a good point, though, bro. Hold on real quick. You make a good point, because you said that you can't. We're just starting to like this whole Me Too movement has taken such momentum, and it's in a place where it's empowering women, and I think that's great because for the longest time they didn't have a voice. A lot of women, I should say, didn't have a voice, and they were afraid to say these things. So you're absolutely right. You can't encourage this kind of thing, and then like you're saying, well, women do lie about those kind of things. You can't do that because it's totally working backwards. So I guess you really just sort of have to let it play out.
You have to,
and like you said, the truth will eventually come out. But there might be that one time where someone's being falsely accused, and they're just going to have to, I guess, risk losing everything to prove, to win back what they have.
And it's tough, but the one thing he has going for him is he's a multimillionaire. He has nothing but the means to prove this. Nothing but the means. Yeah, this is the time where if he was able to be like, you know what? I've always said throughout my career to believe women, and me coming out saying not to, that she's lying, would be totally hypocritical for way too many of you. So I will just let it play out and show you that I'm telling the truth, and let justice prevail. And then leave it at that. People are now saying, yeah, he told him that. I can't say not to believe women now. That would be hypocritical. I've been on the right side. I've been saying that I was on the right side of things. So just I'm going to prove to you that this didn't happen, so that I'm not taking away from any other women in the future that are going to say to believe me. But I'm also not taking away from the fact that I am, in fact, telling you the truth. But when you sit there and be like, I'm going to write a whole thing saying, oh, I feel sorry, but I can't believe she's saying that about me. I just open up Twitter and look at what she's saying. I don't think that. And then he puts in, hey, she freaking cheated on me. I'm like, why would you even, why would you say that she cheated on you? Are you taking away from her character, or?
I'll say this, and it's not a defense, because I think I'm answering your question. Okay. Yes. Because in her essay, there was a point where she had mentioned that, she was miserable. She wanted to leave him for a long time. And then I forgot how she put it, but it was like, basically she ended up kissing somebody, and he found out and he forgave her or whatever. But then he got like real, like, begging her to come back and everything, but nothing really changed. And then she ended up ultimately leaving him for somebody.
Yes.
So depending on how you spin that, maybe he was just countering what she said, because I don't know why, for pride, or he was just addressing that. Like,
yeah, why though? Like, it's like
perception is truth. I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I'm like,
but it was
weird, dude. His denial was strange.
It was very strange, and I'm thinking for the first time in this dude's life, he's like, I don't know what the hell to say, And if he's guilty, there's a big reason why, Yes. But it's odd how I don't want to say it's odd. I do find it very interesting how, like, his associates are just kind of like chilling. You know what I mean? They're not saying anything.
One person, one of the nerdists had an interesting, someone else said something to the effect of, I can't believe this. It really sucks. And the fact that this person might've done this is gross. And one of his nerdist co-hosts was like, this is the only thing I can say about this thing. I'm like, okay.
Well, it's public, right? Who was it? Was it Jonah Ray?
It wasn't Jonah Ray. What are the three guys' names?
It was Matt Myra.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Then Jonah Ray.
Jonah Ray. It was the Idiot podcast.
The ID10T.
Yeah.
I think it's the same people, dude. It's the same people, from what I understand. They just changed the name because of his disassociation with Nerdist.
Oh my gosh, they deleted it. All of their tweets are gone.
He's off of Instagram. He took down his social media accounts. I don't know if he's on Twitter anymore, but I know he took down his Instagram.
Well, one of them did. What do you know what their co-hosts' names are for that? Jonah Ray and who?
I think it's Matt Myra, and Jonah Ray Rodriguez.
There it is. Okay, so Felicia Day says, I was so shocked and sad to read Skydart's post this morning. I'm having a lot of feelings I'm grappling with, but more than anything, my heart goes out to her. Matt Ryer says, this is as good as it can be said. Is that a defense of him, or is that, I mean, it's an obvious thing to say.
I don't know. That's very ambiguous. But to me, if I had to choose like who they're leaning towards, I would definitely say they're leaning towards the side of
right. Right?
What's her name again?
Skydart.
Dijkstra. What's her name
Yeah,
again? Chloe
Dijkstra.
Dijkstra.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't see that Jonah Ray has said anything.
No, he said nothing so far. But Will Wheaton was just like, I'm kind of shocked. I'm very shocked about this, about my best friend, and I'm just taking time to process that, which is a very safe thing to say. And he didn't go either way with it either. I don't think that anyone wants to say anything. I mean, people that were supposed to be on his show, which was Talking Hardwick, I believe, the one that they pulled.
Yes.
No one's saying anything there either.
Do you see Jonah Ray saying something?
He's going to have to eventually. He's associated with them. He's going to have to say something. I don't know what.
I thought that was true, but maybe it's not.
I often wonder if those guys like each other as much as they carry. Like, do they really like each other? Do you remember that? They've had,
that was the
much
most
like
awkward freaking podcast.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to get at. That one particular podcast where they were just not getting along and they had a big argument. And you know what? That's normal. That's normal for people to do those kind of things.
And I was on Chris Hardwick's side that day because he was just like, you're lazy, dude. Not lazy. He was saying, like, you don't do what you could do. He just had it out that day.
Well, I'll give Chris Hardwick this. Chris Hardwick would not be where he is if it wasn't for his drive. So I can give him that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I'm just saying, who knows how close they really are? And maybe he's just waiting to say. Maybe he just is. There's just those people that just won't have your back sometimes. That are your quote unquote friends. That'll just like, you know what I mean? Associates, whatever you want to call them. That they just where the hell were you when I needed you? And maybe he's that guy. I don't know. Maybe he's just playing it safe until more comes out. It's a pretty safe plan.
It is a total.
It's very logical to do that.
And look, the thing is, the weird thing is, the people closest to him, to Chris Hardwick, are playing it right. They're saying, I've not one. Well, I don't know, but no one that I've seen or read or seen tweeted says, I know Chris Hardwick. He is not this guy. Let's just see let's just make sure that all the facts come out. There's no way that he did this. Or someone saying, I believe Chris Hardwick. I've known him. He has never been that way around me or my family. No one has done that thing.
But there, on the flip side, there have been other people, and I don't have names for you, but I mean, I've just read these things, who knows if it's being spun, but a certain employee at Nerdist would definitely say that, Chris Hardwick is a piece of shit. And he can turn it on and be like Mr. Charming, and then to be a nightmare.
Yes, I've
seen more of those. Yeah,
I've seen like checkmarked people saying, "Let me go on the record," and said he was a douche when I'm like, whoa.
I read one that was very close to that just today. Yeah,
yeah, and then now they're trying to name because there's a person that blackballed her, and now they're putting her name out there. They're like, we think it's this woman who blackballed all these people that crossed him. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. But again, people, I think this is the time we should be paying attention. I mean, even though not for some voyeuristic thing, but I do think people should be paying attention and seeing that, like Bob Marley said, you can feel some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. You know what I'm saying? You can do certain things behind closed doors, but someday somebody is definitely going to catch you slipping. No question. You could be like, oh, I did dirt and I got away with it. Did you? Did you really? Are you sure about that? You know what I'm saying? Someone's going to recognize you and remember what the crap you did to them. And the hard thing is if and when it comes out solid, like saying, oh no, this not only happened, but we have proof. How long did she live with that under her? I mean, like just dealing with that. To the point that she had to just let it out and be like, I can't deal with this anymore. I can't. You know what I'm saying?
And then the only thing totally. And the only thing that I could really like think about that is that if she was to write something like that out of just, pure fiction, then that would essentially make her a crazy person. You know what I mean? Or as some people are trying to play it like, oh, well, she's just hurt because he moved on or whatever, and I'm not subscribing to that whatsoever. But it seems to me that an action that rash would constitute another rash action that would eventually like kind of expose her. If that was the case, it's going to be if she was just full of shit, it's going to come out sooner or later that she's full of shit because she's going to end up, if she's doing things that are that bold, if this is like a falsity and she's writing something like that, that's that false, she's going to slip up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
But
yes.
I didn't get that, man. It's just, I don't know. I don't know any of these. I don't know it goes without saying that I don't know these people, but
Yes. But we
I didn't really get that vibe from her.
We will be keeping abreast on the situation. And man, if y'all get any, like, be like, oh my goodness, look at this tweet, please link it to us at Heroes of Noise. So they're like, hey guys, did you see this new information? So that we're just, I mean, because we can't scour Twitter. You know, there's things that we're going to miss, but we know that you listeners are so dope, amazing, superhuman with your skills of digestion regarding Twitter. We know y'all ain't going to miss nothing. So please hit us up on Twitter if you see that we have missed something, or email us if you see that we've missed something.
Obviously, we didn't really give you the Normal Heroes show this week. It was Father's Day. We just thought we would, at the last minute, we weren't going to do anything, and we just decided to come on and chit-chat with you guys. And I just want to let you guys know that I will do my best next week to get something out to you. Preacher starts next week, and we still have to do the word. We are definitely going to put out a word. That first one's going to come out early next week without fail. We're going to try to get something for you from the Heroes side too. But I am getting ready to go into surgery next, June 26th. And I'm going to try my best that following weekend to get something out. But if you don't hear something from us, you're probably going to, I guarantee I'm going to at least be able to do the word. But if I don't really know what to expect right now. So I wanted to at least mention that this week. So if you know, where's the show at, you can blame Dan. I just don't know exactly where I'm going to be, how I'm going to be recovering. Am I going to be in too much pain, too jacked? I'm a real, like I said before, I'm a cheap date when it comes to pain meds. So if I'm just too loopy and slurry, I may not do something. But we will be back very soon. And it's definitely not on the fault of Steve. So maybe Steve will put something out for you. Who knows?
Maybe. All right. Dan, this brings us to a point where I discovered a new game that I invented.
Oh, shit, I forgot about that. You told me that you had a game. What is it?
Real quick. It's called I Don't Know, but I think it's going to be called something like Bad Reviews. I didn't have a chance to name it because I'm not going to name it anything without your name in it. It has to be there.
Okay. Of course. You just haven't thought of anything yet?
No, I would probably be like, no, I'll figure it out. But anyway, what this game is, real quick, I'm going to read you reviews of a movie, and all you have to do is tell me what movie this is. I'm going to eliminate some of the names, obviously. But from what I say about on this review, tell me who this is. Are you ready? I'm going to start you with the
who this
easy,
is or what movie it is.
What movie. And dude, I'm going to start you with easy.
Okay.
So you're not going to have to worry about it.
Hit me.
The star of this movie is a fresh face and earnest and a long way from the grizzled Humphrey Bogartist cynicism of an earlier movie. He indentured to a giant centipede with Linda Hunt's voice, start running like figures in a Springsteen song, We Only Got to Get Out When We're Young, only to find their dreams of escape dashed by a blank and a criminal syndicate known as Crimson Dawn.
Oh, Solo.
Bingo. You know what?
I was like, centipede. I get now where you're going, but I was like, no, this doesn't sound very easy. If you would have said Crimson Dawn, I would have been sitting there for a little bit.
Okay, here we go.
This is the game in development here.
All right, ready? You got the first one. Second
Shoot.
one. First of all, this is another film in which a seemingly mild-mannered, powerless man releases his secret reserves of viciousness or ambition. The idea turns particularly sour in this movie, a revenge fantasy in which the meek Stanley Ipkiss develops the power to play nasty tricks on anyone who's done him wrong.
The Mask.
Dude, I can't believe you got that.
Stanley Ipkiss, man. I've watched The Mask a million times.
I know, but the fact you knew the name is pretty impressive. I kind of upped the ante on that one. Seriously, I bet you if you walked up to the normal person and said Stanley Ipkiss, they wouldn't have gotten it.
It's in there somewhere.
All right.
I've seen it a bunch of times, but it's not like I walk around saying Stanley Ipkiss either. I don't know where that came from, but it was there.
That's pretty. Now, do you now thinking about it, or are you like, wow, that was actually the movie that I
It is a little weird, actually. Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in years. I was really into Jim Carrey back in the day, though. So like all the Ace Venturas and
conscious, Jay.
For sure, dude. It just came out like, oh shit, I just said that, huh? Yeah.
All right, you got 2 out of 2. Number 3. Now, this is when it gets a little bit hard.
Okay.
The Dunderhead story concerns a policeman and a criminal who are frozen in 1996 and thawed out to stalk each other again in 2032. That idea becomes a futuristic action comedy cop movie, though that doesn't.
Demolition Man.
Hey,
Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone.
3
I
out
saw it
of
at the drive-in.
3, G. All right. Okay.
I'm sorry I cut you off. Do you want to like finish
No,
your
I don't.
explanation, or do you
No,
mind me
it's
jumping
okay.
in?
I like this. Okay.
Okay. All right.
The initial joke, which like many of the gags in this movie, is reworked so that so many times it eventually wears thin. It makes this actor the abnormal son of a black sharecropper family, the only child, for instance, for whom tuna, tab, twinkles constitute a favorite meal, finally on his birthday.
The jerk.
Aha! Nice.
Tuna fish salad on white bread with mayonnaise, a tab, and a couple of Twinkies. Here, baby.
Oh, that was awesome. Okay, now you're gonna make this 5 out of 5.
I hope so.
Okay.
I feel like you're catering to me right now.
I am. Because I want to make sure that this game is not so hard that people that are listening are like, oh, come on. Who would know that movie?
I've never claimed to be a film expert, so, you know, this is a fan-based show, but go for it.
The show has a mood. It's a TV show. The show has a moody, dark peak TV look and tone. And this actor is younger than Carrie Bradshaw, who has already an established writer and fashionista when Sex and the City began. But this actress arrives in New York at about the same age Carrie did in her backstory and the scenes she observes. One of the show's defining traits as a drama is that she's more of an observer than an actor. It's populated by Mr. Biggs, toxic bachelors, gay husband. Wait, I'm sorry.
Wait, did you just tell me the name of the title?
No, I did not. But this actress arrives in New York City at about the same age Carrie did in her backstory, and the scene she observes, which is one of the show's defining traits of the drama, is that she's more of an observer than an actor, is populated by Mr. Biggs, toxic bachelors, gay husbands, okay? This actress falls down the stairs at the restaurant like Carrie on the Runway Hospital Roadkill.
You're throwing me off. It's not Sex in the City is what you're saying, right?
It's
Because you
not
keep
Sex
saying
and the
Mr.
City.
Big and...
Yeah, he just says this show has a dark. It's like Sex in the City.
Okay, it's just the way that you said it kind of confused me. I'm not stalling for time either. I got a little fixated on. I was like, did he say? Because you said Sex in the City. I'm like, did you not realize you said that? But okay. Wow. I don't know.
Let me do it
because
again. Let
I'm
me
a
try
little
to get ready.
confused now.
The
Yes,
show
please,
has a
yeah.
moody, dark peak TV look and tone. And this actress is younger than Carrie Bradshaw, who was already an established writer and fashionista when Sex and the City began. But this actress arrives in New York City at about the same age Carrie did in her backstory, and the scene she observes is populated by Mr. Big's toxic bachelor gay husbands. This actress falls down the stairs at the restaurant like Carrie on the Runway, Hospitality Roadkill.
Wow. I think you're gonna win this one, dude.
When I say this actress, it's the actress's name on the TV show.
Okay. So that's the thing. So it's not a show about an actress.
No,
or it is a show with.
No, it's not a show about an actress, but the actress's name is in the article.
Oh wow. Falling downstairs.
Remember, the person in the show arrives in New York at about the same age Carrie did. Carrie from Sex and the City.
Right. I got no clue. You got me on that one.
Sweet Bitter.
You fucking asshole.
No, because I was thinking once I said she
can't-
arrived
gotta bring
in
up
New
old
York, I was like, when she arrived in New York the same way that Carrie did, I'm like, oh, that's it. He's going to get, that's going to be the giveaway. Daggone it.
It totally doesn't matter because I said I had no clue, but I swear on like anything you deem sacred that was the first. I was like, he's fucking with me with Sweet Bitter, but then I was like, no, and then I got confused when you were, no, you asshole, Sweet
That
Bitter.
was the
He's
last
still giving
one
me shit,
because
people.
I was like, that's the most convoluted review I've ever heard. But I'm like, the problem is Sex in the City, that's going to give him the answer. Because he's going to be like, oh, that's like a Sex in the City show now. This, boom. And then when he said...
I wouldn't liken that to Sex in the City, but
And when it said that this
got me on
actress
that
falls down the stairs at the restaurant like Carrie, I was like, oh, great, at the restaurant. Great.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, I didn't even hear you say the restaurant. It got me very confused the way that you read that, but I'm not making excuses. You beat me on that one. And you beat me with freaking Sweet Bitter of all things.
That's okay. Gee,
That's
you
funny.
got 4 out of 5.
That's funny, dude.
That's 4 out of 5.
Oh, I'm okay. I'm not going to lose it. Yeah, I'm not losing sleep tonight over it or anything. I like your game, man. Bring
I
more.
can't believe
You're
that
the quiz master. It's been a minute.
How did you do Demolition Man so quick? I wonder. No, not Demolition Man.
That's the plot of the movie.
The Mask. Stanley Ipkiss.
That's just a name that's kind of an uncommon name, though. Do you know what I mean?
Ipkiss?
I just watched a ton of Jim Carrey back in the day. I think it's just, like I said, it stuck, but it's not like I don't know. It's just weird. The shit that we remember, right?
I still quote whenever I'm like, there's something going on and it's like a party, I always say it's time to PARTY because I got it. Every time.
Yeah, I heard that about you. No, I'm just playing.
And no one knows what I'm
I'm just
talking
playing,
about.
man.
Everybody's like, what? Like, what does that mean? Like, you've never seen that movie? And they have, but they don't remember that quote.
Do you say it with the delivery?
Of course. I'm
You go,
like,
"'Cause I
PA,
gotta."
'Cause I gotta. And they're like, what? I'm like, oh, you didn't see that movie? Like, yeah, I don't remember that movie. But anyway, before we get out of here,
Then you got to explain it.
Dan loves to do.
That's always the worst.
How you can get in touch with us. He loves this part. He loves doing this thing. So, Dan, give us the information.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get a hold of the Heroes of Noise, that's us. You can reach us at heroesofnoisepodcast@gmail.com. You can hit us up at www.heroesofnoise.com, and there you can travel to the likes of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. You can patch in and start subscribing to the new show that's going to be out next week, which is The Word, the Unofficial Preacher The Word, the Unofficial Preacher podcast. We're talking about season 3, folks. I'm excited about this one. Come along. I think you'll have fun. It's pretty much, it's like our show's kind of the same, but it's not. And I talk a whole hell of a lot more on this one for some reason. I don't know. Would you agree, Steve? I'm a little more vocal on The Word. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's probably the breakdown.
Probably because you're breaking down the whole show
thing.
second by second. Yes, that's probably what it is.
Yeah, like ad nauseum. But yes, please. This is going to be a really good season, guys. So check us out. I'm going out for surgery, you guys. I don't even know what's going to happen. So when I wake up and I'm like not high off of anesthesia and everything, I'm going to jump on this microphone and we're going to try to get a show out to you guys really soon, okay? But The Word is happening every week for the next 10 weeks. I hope you guys attend. And I don't know what we're going to do with the Heroes yet, guys. I don't know if we're going to do a show every week, if we're going to shorten it up and just bust out 2 shows, because Steve and I are both very busy men. But we're going to make it work out because that's what we do. You have been listening to the Heroes of Noise. My name is Dan Ramirez. I'm going to turn it back to Steve Hudson.
We love y'all like nobody's business. Thank you for chilling with us on this wonderful Father's Day. And I guess I'm going to be the last one y'all hear. Nope, we got to end it with the peace. So I love y'all. Here's Dan to give you the legendary PEACE.
Okay, I guess I'm back. So yeah, guys, hello again. For Steve Hudson, my name is Dan Ramirez. We equal the Heroes of Noise. It's been good talking to you guys. Happy Father's Day. We'll see you soon. Peace.